I'm sitting in my lawyer's office when Owen calls me Dad for what will be the last time. Dad, I need to talk to you about something important, he says, his voice carrying that careful tone I've heard 1,000 times in courtrooms. 23 years I raised this kid, paid for his braces, taught him to drive, wrote the check for his law school tuition, $180,000 total. Not my biological son. He came with the marriage to Diane, but mine in every way that mattered, until today. What's on your mind? I keep my voice steady, years of training kicking in. You don't spend 30 years with the RCMP without learning to read people. Sienna and I are getting married in 6 months. He pauses. We want to buy a house, start our family right. Thing is, we're looking at this property in Point Grey, and we need to move fast. Congratulations, I say, and I mean it. Sienna seemed nice enough the few times I'd met her. Young, pretty, ambitious. Owen's 32 now, established lawyer at a decent firm. Makes sense. How can I help? Well, another pause. Your house is worth over $1 million now. You're living there alone since the divorce. Sienna's pregnant, Dad. We need the space more than you do. The room gets very quiet. You want me to sell my house? Not sell it. Sign it over to me. I'm your son. I'll inherit it anyway, right? Why wait? We need it now, and you could move into a smaller place, something that makes more sense for a single guy. I spent 5 years rebuilding my life after Diane. That house was my sanctuary, my retirement plan, my future. 4 bedrooms overlooking the harbor, 22 years of mortgage payments, worth about $1.2 million now, with only $300,000 left on the mortgage. Owen, that's my home. Come on, Dad. After everything Mom went through in the divorce, you owe us this. She got screwed in the settlement. You made sure of that with your cop buddies, didn't you? There it is. The real resentment finally bubbling up. Your mother got exactly what the court determined was fair. The reason she got less was because she had an affair with her tennis instructor. I have the photographs. That's your version. She's been struggling for 5 years while you sit in that big house alone. We deserve this. She deserves this. Owen, you took everything from her. Now it's time to give something back. I'm trying to be reasonable here. You're 64, living alone in a 4-bedroom house. We're starting a family. It's the right thing to do. The answer is no. Dad, I said no, Owen. The line goes quiet for a long moment. When he speaks again, his voice has changed. Colder. I really hoped you'd see reason. Guess we're doing this the hard way. He hangs up. I sit there staring at my phone, that old cop instinct starting to tingle. Something about this conversation felt rehearsed, prepared, like he'd already known what my answer would be, like he'd already planned his next move. 2 weeks later, I'm standing in front of Judge Howard Pembroke, listening to Owen explain why his elderly father needs a conservatorship. Your Honor, my father is 64 years old and showing clear signs of cognitive decline. He's become paranoid, making irrational financial decisions. He accused his own son of trying to steal from him simply because I suggested he downsize. Owen's in his good suit, playing the concerned son. Sienna sits behind him in the gallery, hand on her belly, looking appropriately worried. My ex-wife Diane is there too, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. My own lawyer, Martin Forrester, stands beside me. He's 70, semi-retired, and I can tell he thinks I'm overreacting to a family dispute. Mr. Harlow, the judge says, your son has presented medical records showing you've been treated for high blood pressure and had a concerning episode last month where you forgot to turn off your stove. I left the stove on once. I was distracted. It happens. He's also presented testimony from your ex-wife and several family friends expressing concern about your recent behavior, forgetfulness, confusion, paranoia. That's a lie, Your Honor. My ex-wife and I haven't spoken in 5 years except through lawyers. She's not exactly an objective witness. Owen stands. Dad, please. We're just trying to help you. If you won't accept it voluntarily, we have to do this for your own protection. What I need protection from, I say quietly, is you. The judge frowns. Mr. Harlow, that kind of paranoid accusation is exactly what concerns this court. I'm ordering a full psychological evaluation. In the meantime, I'm granting temporary conservatorship to Owen Kessler for a period of 90 days, pending review. The gavel comes down. Owen catches my eye as we leave the courtroom. For just a second, I see something in his face. Not concern, not love, triumph. That's when I know for certain. My son, the kid I raised, the kid I loved, is trying to steal everything I have, the temporary. Conservatorship means Owen now controls my bank accounts, my investments, my house. I get an allowance of $2,000 a month for living expenses. Everything else requires his approval. The psychological evaluation is scheduled for 3 weeks out. Owen's lawyer picked the psychiatrist, Dr. Raymond Moss, who has a reputation for finding exactly what he's paid to find. I'm supposed to sit quietly and wait for the system to work, but I spent 30 years with the RCMP. I know exactly how much damage someone can do in 90 days when they control your assets. So I start watching. Owen doesn't know I kept my backup phone, the burner I used for undercover work. He doesn't know I still have access to my old department resources through friends who remember when I was the guy everyone called for the impossible cases. I start documenting everything. Day 3. Owen transfers $15,000 from my investment account to his personal checking. The memo says, loan repayment. I never loaned him money. He's gambling that I won't notice before the final hearing, that by the time anyone investigates, it'll be too late. Day 7. He puts my house on the market. Asking price, $1.2 million. The listing says, motivated seller. Day 12. I follow Owen to a restaurant in Gastown. He meets Sienna there. They're sitting by the window. They don't see me across the street with my camera. I can't hear them, but I can read lips well enough. My mother's right, Owen says. He had his chance to do right by us. He chose himself. Sienna touches his face. You're such a good son. Your mother is lucky to have you. When this is over, we'll finally have what we deserve. That house should have been hers anyway. They toast with champagne. Sienna's baby bump is notably absent. She's supposedly 6 months pregnant, but her stomach is completely flat in that fitted dress. I take photos of everything. Day 15. I hire a private investigator named Rachel Thornton. She's expensive, but she's good. I pay her in cash, from money I'd hidden in my safe deposit box, one Owen doesn't know about. Find out everything about Sienna Moreau, I tell her. Where she came from, what she's done, who she is. Rachel calls me 3 days later. Emmett, you need to hear this. Sienna Moreau isn't her real name. She was born Sienna Fontaine in Montreal. She was married before to a businessman named Gerald Whitmore. He was 62. She was 23. The marriage lasted 2 years, ended in divorce. He paid her $800,000 to go away quietly. What happened? Near the end of the marriage, Whitmore started showing signs of dementia, forgot things, made bad decisions. His adult children from his first marriage got suspicious and hired investigators. Turned out Sienna had been crushing up his blood pressure medication, mixing it with other substances to make him confused and disoriented. They got it on video. My stomach goes cold. The family was going to press charges, but Whitmore just wanted out. He paid her off. She moved here to Vancouver 2 years ago. That's when she met Owen. Was she pregnant then too? There's no birth certificate on file, no medical records of any pregnancy. If she was pregnant, she either miscarried or lied about it. I think about that champagne toast, about her flat stomach, about the pattern emerging. Can you get me proof? I'm working on it. But Emmett, there's more. I found text messages between Owen and Diane, your ex-wife. They've been in constant contact for 6 months. Show me. She does. The messages go back to before Owen ever called me about the house. Planning, coordinating, Diane feeding Owen information about our divorce, about the house, about where I kept my financial records. Owen asking her advice on how to manipulate conservatorship proceedings. One message from Diane stands out. He took everything from me in the divorce. Make him pay for it. I want that house. Another one, sent 3 weeks after the temporary conservatorship. When this is over, we'll split the money 60-40. You deserve it after everything he put us through. My ex-wife, the woman I supported for 18 years, whose son I raised as my own. She's been orchestrating this from the beginning. I sit in my car and I don't feel angry. I feel cold, focused. Like I used to feel before a big arrest, when everything clicked into place and you could see exactly how the crime was committed. Day 30. The psychological evaluation with Dr. Moss goes exactly as expected. He asks questions designed to make me sound paranoid. Do I think people are conspiring against me? Do I believe my family is trying to harm me? Have I been experiencing memory problems? I answer carefully, honestly. I tell him about the stove, about the high blood pressure. I don't tell him about Owen, about Sienna, about what I'm discovering. He makes notes in his little book, and I can see where this is heading. But I'm not worried, because I've been making notes too. Day 35. I install cameras in my house. Tiny ones, hidden in the smoke detectors, in the bookshelf. Owen has a key. He's been coming by while I'm out. I watch the footage later that night. Owen and Sienna walk through my house like they already own it. She points at my furniture, my photographs, discussing what to keep and what to throw out. This place will sell faster if we stage it properly, she says. We should clear out his personal stuff, put it in storage somewhere. My dad's going to fight the conservatorship, Owen says. Moss thinks he'll recommend continued oversight, but the judge might listen to Dad if he seems coherent. Then we make sure he doesn't seem coherent. Sienna opens my medicine cabinet, takes out my blood pressure medication. How much do you think we should increase the dosage? Owen hesitates, just for a second. Then, double it. Make him foggy for the hearing. Once it's permanent, we can back off. Owen pauses, and for a moment I think he might stop this. Then he continues. I know it sounds bad, but he took our family home from my mom. She's been struggling for 5 years. This is just balancing the scales. They're going to drug me, make me incoherent for the final hearing, ensure the conservatorship becomes permanent. I watch this on video, in my empty house, and I think about the 23 years I spent raising Owen, teaching him right from wrong, believing he was a good man. I was wrong. Day 45. I stopped taking my blood pressure medication. Not permanently. I'm not stupid. But I need to be sharp for what's coming. Owen's been replacing my pills anyway, increasing the dosage like Sienna suggested. I've been pretending to take them, spitting them out later. My real medication is hidden. I take it when they're not watching. That same day, Detective Kyle Brennan calls. We worked together for 15 years before I retired. Good cop, better friend. Emmett, I heard about your situation. Owen called the department, asked if we had concerns about your mental state while you were on the job. Said you were showing signs of early onset dementia. What did you tell him? I told him to go to hell. But he's building a case, Em. He's smart about it. Talking to everyone who knows you, planting seeds of doubt. You need to move faster. I know. Kyle, I need your help. I need you to witness something, officially. Name it. Day 58. Rachel calls again. I found something. Sienna's claiming she's pregnant, but I managed to get access to her medical records through a contact. She's not pregnant. Never has been. She's been using prosthetic pregnancy bumps and forged ultrasound images she bought online. There are websites that sell them to women trying to trap men. Why would she do that? Insurance. If things go wrong with Owen, she claims she lost the baby from stress. It's a manipulation tactic. Makes her seem vulnerable, makes him feel obligated. Plus, it adds urgency to their housing situation. It's all a lie. Every single piece of it. Day 67. The final hearing is in 1 week. Dr. Moss has submitted his recommendation, permanent conservatorship. Owen is the suggested conservator. My house is under contract. Owen accepted an offer for $1.1 million, $100,000 under asking. Fast sale to a friend of Sienna's family. Everything is timed perfectly. Once the conservatorship is permanent, I have no standing to contest the sale. Owen will claim the money is being managed for my benefit. By the time I could fight it through appeals, the money will be gone, but I'm not planning to fight through appeals. Day 74. The final hearing. Judge Pembroke looks older than he did at the temporary hearing. Tired. He has a stack of paperwork in front of him. Dr. Moss's recommendation, character witnesses from Diane's friends, testimony about my deteriorating condition. Owen sits at the plaintiff's table, looking appropriately concerned. Sienna is beside him, hand on her belly, wearing her prosthetic bump today. Diane is in the front row, perfectly positioned to show maternal concern. I'm at the defense table with Martin Forrester, who has already warned me that this isn't going well. Your Honor, Owen begins, my father's condition has deteriorated significantly over the past 2 months. He's been erratic, paranoid, making wild accusations. Dr. Moss has recommended permanent conservatorship for his own safety and financial security. Mr. Harlow, the judge says, do you have anything to say before I make my ruling? I stand up. Yes, Your Honor. I have quite a bit to say. I open my briefcase and pull out a folder. It's thick with documents, photographs, video stills. I'd like to introduce evidence that this conservatorship was obtained through fraud, that my son and his fiancée have engaged in a coordinated effort to steal my assets through false claims of mental incompetence. Owen's face goes white. Your Honor, this is exactly the kind of paranoid. I have video evidence of Owen Kessler and Sienna Moreau discussing how to increase my medication dosage to make me appear confused during this hearing. I hand a USB drive to the bailiff. I have financial records showing unauthorized transfers from my accounts. I have testimony from RCMP Detective Kyle Brennan regarding my mental competence, and I have extensive documentation of Ms. Moreau's prior marriage to Gerald Whitmore, where she used identical tactics. The judge takes the USB drive. This is highly irregular. Your Honor, I was a police officer for 30 years. I know how to build a case. I built this one against my own son. Martin Forrester, my half-asleep lawyer, suddenly looks very awake. The judge reviews the materials. His expression darkens with each page. He plays the video I recorded. The courtroom watches Owen and Sienna discuss drugging me, staging my house, ensuring I seem incoherent, watches them divide up my assets like I'm already dead. When it's over, Judge Pembroke looks at Owen with pure disgust. Mr. Kessler, these are serious allegations. He turns to me. Mr. Harlow, you mentioned text messages between your son and your ex-wife. May I see those? Yes, Your Honor. May I read one specific message from Diane Kessler to Owen? The judge nods. I read from my phone, my voice steady. He took everything from me in the divorce. Make him pay for it. I want that house. When this is over, we'll split the money 60-40. You deserve it after everything he put us through. The courtroom goes silent. That message was sent 6 months ago, I continue. 3 months before Owen filed for conservatorship. This wasn't about protecting me. This was about punishing me. I look at Diane. She's frozen in her seat. Here's another one, from 2 weeks after the temporary conservatorship hearing. Good work, honey. Keep him confused until the final hearing. Once it's permanent, We're home free. I've already picked out a condo in Yaletown. Judge Pembroke's face darkens further. Mrs. Kessler, stand up. Diane doesn't move. I said stand up. She stands, shaking. You coordinated a fraud against your ex-husband using your own son as a weapon. You planned to profit from stealing his assets. That is one of the most morally repugnant acts I've seen in 30 years on this bench. That's when Diane snaps. She rushes forward and slaps me across the face, hard enough that my head rocks back. You destroyed my life, she screams. I gave you 18 years, and you threw me away like garbage. You threw away our marriage when you slept with your tennis instructor. I forgave the first time, remember? I gave you a second chance. You did it again. We're done, Diane. We've been done. But apparently, you decided to use my son, the kid I raised, as your weapon. Well, congratulations. You've destroyed him too. Judge Pembroke stands. Mrs. Kessler, you're in contempt of court. Bailiff, remove her. As they drag Diane out, screaming, the judge turns to Sienna. Ms. Moreau, you're claiming to be 6 months pregnant? Sienna touches her stomach. Yes, Your Honor. Then you won't mind submitting to a medical examination right now. I'm ordering an immediate pregnancy verification through the court's medical office. Her face drains of color. That's invasive, and it's a simple blood test, unless you have reason to refuse. Owen grabs her hand. Sienna, just do it. We have nothing to hide. But she does have something to hide, and we all know it. Your Honor, I need to leave. Bailiff, detain Ms. Moreau. The judge's voice is ice. Nobody leaves this courtroom. Sienna moves toward the door anyway. 2 officers step in front of her. Detective Kyle Brennan stands up from the gallery. He's been sitting there the whole hearing, waiting. I asked him to come for this exact reason. Sienna Fontaine, Kyle says, pulling out handcuffs. You're under arrest for elder abuse, fraud, conspiracy, and unlawful administration of controlled substances. You have the right to remain silent. She tries to pull away. The officers grab her arms. This is insane, she screams. Owen, do something. Owen doesn't move. He's staring at the floor. They cuff her right there in the courtroom. The judge watches without expression. As they lead her out, Sienna looks back at Owen one last time. You promised me we'd be together. You said, I lied, Owen says quietly, just like you did. The door closes behind her. Judge Pembroke turns back to Owen. Mr. Kessler, I'm dismissing this conservatorship immediately. I'm also referring this matter to the Vancouver Police Department for criminal investigation. The charges will include attempted fraud, elder abuse, and conspiracy. I strongly suggest you retain legal counsel. Owen finally speaks. Dad, please, I made a mistake. Sienna, she convinced me. Don't. My voice comes out flat, empty. Don't call me Dad. Don't call me at all. I'm your son. No. You're the man who tried to steal my life because your mother told you I owed you something. You're the man who would have drugged his own father to take his house. I raised you better than this. The old man deserves this. Owen's face twists with rage, all the careful lawyer composure gone. He took everything from my mom. She got screwed in the divorce because of his cop friends and his lies about her affair. She had nothing. Your mother had exactly what she earned. She cheated, Owen. I have the photographs, the private investigator reports, the hotel receipts. She got less because she violated the marriage contract. That's how divorce works. That's your story. It's the truth. But you never asked for my side, did you? You just believed what she told you. For 5 years, she's been poisoning you against me, and I never even knew it. Owen turns to me one last time. I hate you, he says. I know, I reply, but I still love you. That's what makes this so much worse. 3 months later, I'm packing up the house, boxes stacked in every room, when Detective Brennan calls. Verdict's in. Owen pleaded guilty to all charges. 2 years suspended sentence, probation, community service, $50,000 fine, plus the $75,000 restitution. His law license? Suspended pending review. But between you and me, Em, he's done. No firm's going to touch him after this. I thank Kyle and hang up. I should feel victorious. I don't. I just feel tired. That night, I watch Owen's sentencing on the news. He stands before the judge in a suit that looks too big for him now. He's lost weight. Looks older. The reporter asks, "Mr. Kessler, do you have anything to say?" Owen's voice cracks. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad. I destroyed everything." I turn off the TV. Sorry doesn't rebuild 23 years. Sorry doesn't erase video of you planning to drug me. Sorry doesn't give me back the son I thought I had. His career, the one I paid $180,000 in law school tuition for, is over. I sell the house for $1.2 million. I've been paying that mortgage for 22 years. Only $300,000 left on it. After closing costs, I walk away with $850,000. The place has too many ghosts now. I take the money and I drive north into British Columbia's interior. I find a cabin near a lake where the water is so clear you can see straight to the bottom. 20 acres of forest. No neighbors for 3 miles. I use $75,000, the exact amount Owen has to pay me in restitution, to establish the Elder Financial Protection Fund, a nonprofit that helps seniors who are being financially exploited by family members. It's small, but it's something. Turn the pain into purpose. 1 year later, the letters arrive every 2 weeks, like clockwork. I don't read most of them anymore, but today, one sits on my kitchen table for 3 days before I finally open it. "Dad, I've been going to therapy. Court mandated at first, but I kept going after. My therapist says I need to understand why I did what I did before I can ask for forgiveness. I think I know now. I was angry. At you, at the divorce, at feeling like I had to choose sides. Mom told me for 5 years that you destroyed her life, that you used your cop connections to cheat her in the settlement, that you took everything from her. I believed her because it was easier than accepting she might be lying, because if she was lying, that meant I'd wasted 5 years hating you for nothing." Sienna saw that anger and weaponized it. She knew exactly what to say. "Your father owes your mother. You deserve that house. He's old. He doesn't need it anymore." I wanted to believe her because the alternative was admitting I was trying to steal from my own father. I was a coward. I am a coward. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking you to know that I understand now what I destroyed, and I'll spend the rest of my life carrying that weight. Love, Owen. P.S. Mom pleaded guilty. She got 2 years. She's in minimum security in Fraser Valley. I visited her once. She spent the whole time blaming you. She'll never stop. I finally see that now. I fold the letter and put it in my desk drawer with the others. Understanding doesn't equal absolution. 3 weeks later, Owen shows up at the cabin. He's thinner, looks older. Prison time, even suspended, takes something from you. "Dad," he says, "please, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking anyway. I threw away everything, my career, my family, my integrity. I've spent a year thinking about what I did, and I can't live with it anymore." I look at him standing on my porch, the kid I taught to ride a bike, the teenager I stayed up with after his first heartbreak, the man I watched graduate law school. "You chose your mother and Sienna over me," I say. "You chose greed over family, over love, over everything I tried to teach you. I know. Was it worth it?" He starts to cry. "No. God, no." "Then you have your answer. Please, Dad, I need to hear you say you forgive me. I forgive you, Owen." The words come, easier than I expected. "I forgive you because holding on to this anger is killing me too. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean I trust you. It doesn't mean we're family again. Then what does it mean? It means I'm letting you go. I raised you. I loved you. I did my best. What you did with that is on you now. Live with it. Learn from it. But live with it somewhere else. I close the door. I don't watch him leave. I pour myself 2 fingers of whiskey, the good stuff I've been saving. I think about something Dr. Elena Varga told me after the trial. She'd evaluated both me and Owen for the court. "Emmett," she said, "you can forgive someone and still protect yourself from them. Forgiveness isn't reconciliation. It's release. It's choosing not to carry the weight of their choices anymore. I forgive Owen. Not because he deserves it, because I deserve peace. But forgiveness doesn't mean trust. It doesn't mean letting him back into my life. It doesn't mean pretending the last 2 years didn't happen. It means I'm done carrying the weight of his betrayal. That's his burden now. I watch the sunset over the water, and I think about second chances, about redemption, about what we owe the people who betray us. And I realize we don't owe them anything. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from the people you love when they become people you can't recognize anymore. Sometimes the only way to win is to stop playing the game. I raise my glass to the empty room. To starting over, I say. The lake doesn't answer, but it doesn't need to. I'm finally home.